The 50s, the decade the automobile gained a soul. A decade of optimism, color, rock and roll, and most of all, freedom on four wheels. Cars stopped being just plain machines and became sculptures, cultural symbols, objects of desire and innovation labs. The chromed American dream, German engineering reborn, French elegance, everything was found on the streets. Every car fin, every V8 engine told a story about who we were and who we wanted to be. The automobile became the main stage of life, so buckle up and turn up the volume. In this video, we're going to dive into 9 machines that defined the 50s and shaped the future of the automotive industry. The fastest, the best-selling, the strangest, and the most influential. They're all here. Get ready for a trip back in time, where the smell of gasoline mixes with nostalgia. Let's speed up together in this story at over 200 kilometers per hour. The Mercedes-Benz 300 SL isn't just a car. It's a legend born on the racetracks. It was made to race in Le Mans and the Carrera Panamericana, but it ended up on the streets thanks to an American importer's vision. Its 3-liter 6-cylinder engine was the first production car with direct fuel injection. While others were still struggling with carburetors, Mercedes was using wartime aircraft technology. The result? 215 horsepower and 260 kilometers per hour in 1954. It was the fastest production car in the world. But what really stands out are the gull-wing doors, created out of engineering necessity and becoming a design icon. Driving a 300 SL was raw, a tight, hot, noisy interior and a tricky rear suspension. It wasn't for amateurs, it was a race car with license plates. The 300 SL symbolized the rebuilding of Mercedes and Germany, showing technological prowess and ambition. It set the standard for supercars before the term even existed. A work of art on wheels that transcends time, the 300 SL is pure automotive glory, an icon that still makes hearts race. It wasn't just fast, it was a symbol of rebirth, the original supercar before all the others, a global engineering milestone, simply magnificent. From German raw power to French genius, the Citroën DS. When it showed up in Paris in 1955, it looked like a car from the future. Flaminio Bertoni's design was aerodynamic, elegant, without traditional grills and with a floating roof. It was so striking that, at the Paris Motor Show, it sold 12,000 units on the first day. But the secret was in the hydropneumatic suspension. The DS floated over bumps. There was even an urban legend that said, whoever could flip a DS would win a brand new one from the factory. Power steering, semi-automatic transmission, disc brakes, and headlights that turned with the steering wheel, all decades ahead of its time. It was a magic carpet on wheels, mixing comfort, safety, and innovation. The DS wasn't just a car, it was a philosophy. Comfort and safety were as important as speed. It changed automotive engineering forever. While others chased power, the French reinvented the automobile. The DS became a benchmark for technology and design. A leap into the future in the middle of the 50s. The goddess of the roads. A before and after in history. The car that made the world rethink what was possible. After the war, Germany needed cheap ways to get around, and that's how the Messerschmitt KR200 was born. From the airplane factory to the streets, the KR200 was a tiny car with 3 wheels, with 2 seats, one behind the other, and a clear plastic bubble top. Instead of a steering wheel, it had handlebars, a tiny 10-horsepower engine, but it was quick and cheap to run. To go backward, you had to restart the engine in reverse, and it could go just as fast backward as it could forward. It was impossible not to notice it. It looked like a tiny UFO. The KR200 became the perfect ride for students, young couples, and anyone who needed to save money. Even with all its quirks, it sold really well. It gave people an affordable way to get around when the country needed it most. A great example of being creative in tough times. The tiny car that brought smiles everywhere it went. Proof that when you need something, you find a way to invent it. A quirky symbol of Germany rebuilding itself. Mobility for everyone with lots of style. The Messerschmitt KR200, weird, cool, and unforgettable. He guaranteed you. Think of the 1950s and you'll see a Chevrolet Bel Air. It wasn't the fastest or the most luxurious, but it was America's car. The Bel Air put the middle class on wheels, becoming an icon in movies, songs, and dreams. Its design, especially from 1955 on, was pure charm. Clean lines, two-tone paint, tail fins, and lots of chrome. Under the hood, the small block V8 engine. Powerful, reliable, and affordable. The sound of the V8 became the soundtrack of the suburbs. The Bel Air was style, power, space, and a fair price. Options for every taste: sedan, coupe, convertible, station wagon. It embodied freedom of choice and American optimism. More than just a car, it was the backdrop for a generation. The Bel Air defined America's golden age. If the Bel Air was the American dream, the Cadillac Eldorado Biarritz was the Hollywood version of that dream. Luxury, size, and chrome overload. The peak of more is more. The 1959 model is the top of space-age design, almost 5.7 meters long, covered in chrome, and with the biggest tail fins ever seen. Inside, it was a palace. Leather finish, air conditioning, power windows and seats, automatic radio. As a convertible, it was the car for the stars. Just ask Elvis Presley. The Eldorado cost more than many houses, the ultimate sign of status. It was made to be seen, to impress. It showed the rise of optimism and excess after the war. Soon after, car design would become simpler, but for a short time, the Eldorado showed how bold a car could be. A monument to excess, that became a legend. The Cadillac Eldorado Biarritz, pure glamour on wheels, the excess that defined an era. In the middle of the excess of the 50s, the Volkswagen Beetle was the opposite: small, simple, and reliable. Born in Germany, it became a symbol of rebuilding and being practical. Rear engine, air-cooled, few parts, easy to fix. It wasn't fast or fancy, but it never left you stranded. Good on any ground, strong and long-lasting. In the United States, it became a symbol of the counterculture, the anti-car of Detroit. Great ad campaigns turned its weaknesses into strengths. Ugly, but reliable, slow, but cheap to run. The Beetle showed that being reliable sells. It broke production records, with over 21 million units sold worldwide. While others became old relics, the Beetle kept going strong for decades. It wasn't fancy, but it was the most important, the honest car that won over the world. In 1959, the British Mini changed car design forever. Created by Alec Isigonis, its goal was to be super efficient without losing space. It had a sideways engine in the front, the gearbox under the engine, and front-wheel drive. All new ideas. The Mini was only 10 feet long, but 80% of its space was for people and their stuff. Small on the outside, roomy on the inside. A true engineering magic trick. It handled great, felt like a go-kart, and was super fun to drive. Soon, it became a star in car races, beating much bigger cars. It set the standard for small cars, sideways engine and front-wheel drive. Everyone loved it, from housewives to the Beatles and even royalty. It was a car for everyone, loved for being smart and charming. Launched at the end of the decade, it showed the way to the future. The Mini, small in size, giant in influence. The small car that changed everything. The Mercedes-Benz W196 was the ultimate predator on the tracks in the 50s. Built to rule Formula One, it had an 8-cylinder engine with direct injection and desmodromic valves. A closed body for high speed, open for twisty tracks. Pure strategy. Behind the wheel, the legendary Juan Manuel Fangio. The mix of tech and talent was unbeatable. World titles in 1954 and 1955. The W196 was German engineering at its best. It dominated so much that it almost took the fun out of the competition. It made Mercedes strong in car racing. A silver arrow that flew faster than all the others. The best of racing engineering from the 50s. More than just a ride, it was a symbol of power. The presidential Cadillacs of the United States. These weren't just any cars. They were like moving fortresses, custom-made for presidents like Eisenhower. Long, fancy, and packed with the latest tech and safety features. Many were convertibles, perfect for showing off the president in parades and events. The presidential Cadillac was like an embassy on wheels, instantly recognizable. The shiny chrome and the presidential seal showed off its importance and power. They set the bar for state cars even to this day. They turned the head of state's car into a national symbol. More than just a car, it was a message of power. The presidential Cadillac, politics, importance, and history on wheels. And there you have it. Speed, innovation, luxury, politics, and a dash of weirdness. The 1950s were the big bang of the modern car. Each car here wasn't just a machine, but a part of the gears that moved the world. They defined their era and laid the groundwork for the future. Their ideas still echo in today's cars. Cars can be art, revolution, freedom, or history. Their tire tracks are still alive in our memory. If you enjoyed the ride, subscribe to Gearbones and speed with us into the past to understand the future.